welcome to our first Zoom online full moon altar activation ceremony. I'm Robin Mastro, and this is my husband, Michael. And we wanted to thank you all for coming into our home during this pandemic. And I just wanted to let you all know before we begin everything, we have two dogs, so they may wander around in the room, or we may need to go attend to them. So if that happens, just know it's part of living and being in the middle of an epidemic and doing everything out of the house. So glad that you all were able to make it today. We wanted to do this ceremony because we really are very service-oriented people. And in fact, when we came together, that was probably one of the most important reasons that we came together, was to do good work in the world, to raise healthy, happy kids and to do good work in the world.
And grandkids.
And well, yeah, that too. We're new grandparents for the fourth time, so very excited about that. But we also really felt that during this epidemic, we want to support one another, and we for many years have done this work in our local community. Michael and I have been teachers for the Art of Living Foundation for over 25 years. So for many years, we would open our homes on the full moon and have satsang for our local Art of Living group. We were the founding teachers of Art of Living in the state of Washington. And we had a large group, and it was always a joyous occasion to come together and have these ceremonies and watch people's lives transform, and in small and big ways. So we've done community altars for traumatic events that have been happening in the world, and watched how our intentions for peace on the planet actually made a difference. So part of what we'll be doing today is a blessing for the planet to bring about more peace, which we all dearly need, and healing. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. I think that now we want to talk about our backgrounds. So not everybody knows who we are. There are people. The last time I checked, there was almost 600 people signed up for this event. So there's people coming from all over the world to join us live, and also we will be doing a recording of this and posting that so that you can share it with your friends and family if they haven't been able to make this event. But Michael's going to share his background so you can gather a little bit about our journey and how we've gotten to this. And then I'll talk a little bit about my journey too.
So many of you already know my background, but for those of you who don't know, I was very fortunate as a young architect to meet Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the Beatles guru, and he asked me to come to Rishikesh to design some buildings that are still there, some meditation buildings that were made out of rocks from the Ganges River. And it was at his feet that I learned about the science of Vastu. Vastu is the original feng shui. It is basically aligning your physical body and your environment to the forces of nature, the solar energy that comes from the east and the magnetic energy that comes from the north, and balancing the 5 elements. Everything is made of energy. Our body and this table and everything in the world is made of earth, water, fire, air, and space. And so we're going to be talking a lot about that today. But basically, I I learned a lot. And when I came back, I was very fortunate to be on the design team for the first Microsoft building and some buildings for Boeing. And, you know, people kept asking me, what can you do for existing homes and offices? So that's primarily, I design a few houses a year, a couple offices, but mostly I do balancing of those 5 elements within homes, existing homes and businesses for the last few years. And then when Robin and I got together, we had talked about utilizing Vastu in altars. And so I'm going to let her speak about her background.
He's very modest, isn't he? Michael has been I just need to say, in addition to what he said, he's been a meditator since he was 16 or 17, and very, very dedicated to his spiritual path. Probably the most disciplined person I know when it comes to spiritual practices. He wakes up every morning before dawn and does sacred ceremony. Whether we're at home or traveling anywhere in the world, he always does these ceremonies to honor the divine, and people from all over the world utilize his skills. I mean, he when we had our satsang group in Seattle, we now live in Southern California. There would be a lot of younger employees who would come from India to Microsoft, and the parents would know that we were the teachers in the city of Seattle, and they would send their kids to us for satsang, and also to kind of end up being like the American parents of these children. And some of those kids are now upper management and executives at a lot of different tech companies all over the country. And they have kids, and it's like 3 generations of families come to Michael every time they're moving into an apartment or a house or changing offices. He's kind of like their family member, and that's what we do. We our clients and the people that we're part of in our spiritual community, which has very much expanded, are like family. And so that's one of the other reasons that we wanted to do this, was to expand our family, to share what we know, because we know a lot and we know what works. And when we were teaching in Seattle, we noticed, even with everything that we were teaching, the meditation, the yoga, the Vedic breathing, people in our community were still suffering. And that's how we developed this Vastu tradition that includes these altars, taking this very complex science and figuring out how to make it work for other people in a way where they didn't have to remodel their homes or move in order to have less stress and more success and productivity in their lives. That's kind of initially how we came to this, or how I came to this, was helping other people doing service work in our community. So that is very much who we are. I came about these altars, actually, altars designed in the Vedic tradition, according to Vastu, was my, I guess I cognized that. And I wanted to tell a little bit about that story, because it started a long time before I met Mike. I was married previously to a man who, the way I think of it is that he was pretty much a gambler, and he had been very successful, had a chain of stores in the Midwest. He brought waterbeds to Kansas City in the Midwest, and he had 7 stores and a manufacturing company, and that he sold, and then it kind of went belly up after he sold it. And he was constantly trying to remake himself based on what he had done before. And in that marriage, we lost everything 3 times. The third time, we ended up being homeless, which was difficult. I had a small child. She wasn't even a year old when it happened. And a dear friend of ours let us house sit for her for 3 weeks. And during that time, we were able to gather enough money to move into a small little townhome. And I felt very, very grateful to have a home again. I wasn't raised on the fringe. I was pretty middle American. Had gone to college, thought I was going to, do well in the world, but I was very naive when it came to men. And I let that husband kind of run my life, and to the point that it ran us into the ground. I remember realizing I needed to reinitiate my meditation practice, my spiritual practices, because I felt so grateful to have a home again. And I was deep in meditation, one of these meditations, when I had this, I don't know if it was a vision or a waking dream, but it was so powerful that it actually was a life-changing experience. In fact, everything that you see now came from that. I found myself in this deep meditation, walking through a forest and looking out into a gathering. And in that gathering were people dressed in very differently. And I knew it was very, very ancient. And I felt that it was Druid, European, very ancient, Druid in nature. And this tribe of people had congregated in this clearing. I get chills just thinking about it. On the ground, they had created this beautiful altar. Is all I was looking at it and realizing, oh my God, it's what it is. It is a sacred space that they were collecting elements for, and had created this beautiful offering ceremony to nature. And there was the elements laid out in a specific pattern. And in the middle was this beautiful gold hammered chalice. And they were all putting things of value within that chalice. And I had this sense that they were offering to nature to support them through the next moon cycle. And my sense is that as it was like almost dusk when it started, and as the moon was rising, I could see that it was full or almost full. And I thought, wow, this is so amazing. I mean, I was at a place in that marriage where I was looking into coat pockets for money for food. It was pretty bad. So I thought, I wonder what it would be like if I actually did this myself, if I could somewhat replicate it myself. So it was almost the full moon, and off the bedroom in this little townhome that we were living in, my ex-husband and I, not the current one, who actually we've been married, we just celebrated our 30th anniversary this year. So this one was good. I got all of the things of value that I felt were valuable to me. My checkbook, any money I had in the house, my jewelry, and I created this altar out on the balcony off of the bedroom, and I put the elements in very similar order to this as I remembered. And in the middle, well, I didn't have a hammered chalice. I took my salad bowl and I lined it in aluminum foil, and I put everything of value in that. And I did a ceremony and prayed in front of the altar. And since that day, and that was, oh my gosh, Amy is 37, so that was 35 years ago, 36 years ago. I never bounced a check again. and I never was without. And I think soon after that, that marriage broke up. And about a year and a half later, Michael and I got together. And it was then he taught me about Vastu. Well, for us, Vastu was like golf. We didn't really do golf, but we really enjoyed talking about people's homes. As we went for walks, we could see our friends in the neighborhood and look at their homes and realize, well, yeah, they're having some problems with this kid. There's a way that we could see in the layout, the floor plan of the house, why that was happening. The stress in the environment was causing these things. And so we had I was being educated by Michael about the science. And maybe about a year or so afterwards, I had a very traumatic experience where I thought that I I thought I was going to die. It was fairly dramatic. And after that encounter, that feeling that life is so temporary, and that I felt like I hadn't really done what I came here to do. So as things happened, it evolved where I became aware of a program, a master's program, and within 3 weeks I was signed up and I started that program. And the program was in whole systems design. And as I was in that program for a couple of years, towards the end of the program, we had bought a house that we were renovating. We were on our way to India to travel throughout India with our guru, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. And I'm in this master's program, and I thought, oh my God, there's just too much going on. And I'm either going to have to drop out of this master's program or incorporate what I'm going to do in India, and also what we're doing with the house. As we were doing tenant improvement on the house, we were utilizing the principles of Vastu to redesign the house so that it worked in harmony with nature. We went to India, and everywhere I saw altars. We were involved in many ceremonies and pujas, which were sacred ceremonies. We had been to Bali, we had been to Europe, we had been to South America. We've seen altars everywhere, but not so much in this culture. So when I came back to the US, I proposed to my graduate committee, who the heads of the committee were PhD architects. And I suggested about creating small environments using the science of Vastu. And creating an altar according to Vastu was not done. I mean, the puja altars that I've seen are not lined up this way. They're not honoring the directions and the elements in a very certain order. And that's what makes these altars so powerful, is that they have the energy of the universe in perfect order. So they are like little homing devices for your highest intention, bringing that into form. So I suggested this to my graduate committee, and I started working with people, friends and family, to see if this concept that I had about designing small environments, which I called altars, in this way. And people's lives started changing, and in not so small ways. Some small and subtle, some very large and very obvious. What I noticed is people who take time every day to meditate, or have spiritual practices like yoga, journaling, chanting, they all notice the results of the altar quicker. It became more obvious to them because they were more aware of subtle shifts and changes. And I really feel that once we have created an altar, the most important thing is that it's beautiful to you, and that it touches your heart, and that you love it, because the beauty and the love are what feeds the altar. Love is what we are, and beauty is a very high vibration. And these altars are sacred space. So, what else did I want to talk about here? Well, there is a formula, and those of you who have built an altar for this full moon based on the PDF handout that we created on the full moon, have seen and possibly created your own altar according to the science. But there are people who just signed on, like a half an hour ago. I was watching people still signing on to be participants in this full moon ceremony who they don't have an altar. So we're seeing this as our community altar. This is for everyone. And what I would like to do is just go through and talk about the elements and the placement, the symbolism of the elements. And then we're going to go through a whole bunch of processes, and we'll go into that in a little bit. But let's talk about the elements.
You want to talk about the full moon? What it's about first? Do you want me to talk a little bit about the full moon and what's it?
Yeah.
So using Vedic astrology, Jyotish means light, putting light on your karma or the horoscope, the birth chart. This is a full moon in Cancer. And I know that may seem odd to a lot of you because you're using Western astrology, which is based on where the planets were about 2,000 years ago. That's using the tropical zodiac. In the Vedic astrology, we use the sidereal zodiac, again, based on where the planets are, if you're not asking an astronomer today. So the full moon is in Cancer, and it's exactly opposite the sun in the celestial sky. And Cancer has a sort of a nurturing energy, which is really what we need after a whole year of chaos and turmoil. It has to do with home and our loved ones and what we really value in life. And I think a lot of us are coming out of that last year, realizing what's really important to us, what we value, our home and our loved ones and friends. And so it's really a time to move from the head to the heart. That's what Cancer, the sign of Cancer is all about. And a full moon is a time, so new moon is a time to start something new, and a full moon is kind of a completion of things. And it also is a time to start thinking about what you want for this new year appropriately. Here we're in January. So it's really about healing all the challenges that we had last year, and really aligning your new activities that you want to do this year with your spirit, with make sure they're in integrity with who you are. And that'll give you this higher perspective on where you want to go in your life. But again, I think it's just really all about nurturing, a nurturing kind of energy. And just to give you just a little highlights of what's coming astrologically. So we come out of last year where we had the two nodes of the moon, the eclipse points, Rahu and Ketu, which are not really talked about in Western astrology. They moved in September from a sign that was creating the virus to a sign of Taurus, where it's actually we're going to find the cures for the virus. And so we're really in full healing mode for the next few months or so. And also we had in December, late December, I think around the 20th or 21st, Jupiter and Saturn came together, and that was in the sign of Capricorn. So Saturn rules Capricorn, so it's in its own sign. So it's very interesting how Saturn has to do with the government for the people. And Jupiter is more about a government, more of an authoritarian government. So we're moving in that direction. With that conjunction, it created a trigger to start moving in that direction. And so just we're having this moon now, which is in Cancer, giving that nurturing, healing energy. And then around the 11th of February, we're going to enter a new moon. And so good time to start things. And especially this new moon that's coming on February 11th is where 7 planets will be in the sign of Capricorn. So very, very powerful to start something new. Also good to start something new on the full moon, which is tomorrow. That's where we're doing this altar. So you can be all set for the full moon altar that you're going to create in your home. Around the 20th of February, Venus will enter Aquarius. And so this is a very powerful healing time as well, creating, harmony in your relationships. Very, very powerful time. Around the 21st, the next day, Mercury goes direct. So all the projects that have been stuck will start to move again. Mercury will go direct, giving the energy for communications and for things to move forward. So it's just really going to be a great month, February. And then around the 22nd, Rahu and Mars are coming closer and closer together. They'll be exactly conjunct in March 26th. But even when they come very close together, it kind of heightens passion, passion to create something new. It also can bring up impatience and even anger. So it's really important for us to channel that energy when it comes. You can channel it into decluttering your house or whatever you want to do, but yeah, make sure that you don't overreact in certain situations. Try to avoid arguments and things like that. Channel that energy into creating something very powerful and new for this new year. And then around the 26th, Jupiter will move into Taurus. And this is really, really powerful. It gives a lot of financial boost that's needed for a lot of people on the planet. It will, and these are just very general things that are indicated by these planetary shifts, but and also a feeling of hope. Like just so much uncertainty of last year, and now we're starting to have a new hope with Jupiter entering Taurus. So very, very powerful things to come in the coming month. And if you join us on our Mantra Mondays, I'll keep you updated to all the planetary shifts that are going on per Vedic astrology. Now, if you want to know more about how these planetary shifts will actually impact you and your personal chart, we'll talk more about it later, but you can get a Vedic astrology reading that'll give you remedies to support you to move gracefully through your relationships, your health, your finances, and your career. But now we'll move into the altar at full speed here.
I wanted to just mention everything that we're talking about has come from this book, Altars of Power and Grace, which is based on my graduate work. And it's available as a download and on our website at vastucreations.com. Also, it's on Amazon, just if you want to learn a little bit more about creating altars in the Vedic tradition. But I wanted to talk about the symbolism of each of these elements. So, and I really love doing this. This is so much fun for me to share this with everybody. We start with the air element, and think of an altar as almost like a spiral. It has like a spiraling effect, and it's also almost as if it is a birthing effect. So we start with air and the thought that comes from air, and the idea that everything in the universe comes basically out of space and then becomes a subtle thought. And as it moves through this spiral into creation, it moves into the water element, and the water element is the emotional component. It is the gestation of the idea of creation. And this is like a birth. So it is the same with ideas as it is with birthing a baby. And it sits in this energy or this fluid of creation, and then moves into the fire element, where that spark of light and life and fire brings it warmth and possibility. And then it moves into the earth element, and the earth element grounds it into the physical realm. So these are the elements in the very center. We call this the offering tray. This is actually the space element. And in Vastu, in the Vedic sciences, everything comes from space. So all the elements, earth, air, fire, water, and space or earth, air, fire, and water come out of space. I've added what we call a personal symbol. This personal symbol is Saraswati. She's the goddess of wisdom, education, creativity. And then I decorate. I decorate, meaning I make it beautiful to me. So I add extra things. And here I've added like a little Ganesh. Here's a medicine Buddha. I'm using him as my earth element. The fire element, it could be, there's a lot of things that the fire element can be. One of them is incense, but incense can also be an air element, because the smell goes waves through the air. And it can also be a candle, and the candle could be a regular candle, or it could be one of those battery operated candles. That works the same. For the air element, it could be a bell or feathers or something. Some people even use those little sculptures of birds, something that symbolizes air. The water element is obviously purified water, but I also have a seashell there. So it could be, either, or whatever comes from water. And if you're going to use flowers, we suggest silk or alive. These are alive, but never dried. We don't want our flowers to be dried, because we want our manifestations to be alive. So let's just put it that way. So silk or alive flowers, and we want the vase to be transparent or translucent, so you're able to see the water. In the offering tray, Michael is going to talk more about this. I have a mala bead necklace, one of our keystones, which is a little symbol
to ignite the altar.
But we also have this downloadable yantra, which Michael's going to talk a little bit about the yantra.
Yeah, so this happens to be a moon yantra. There are thousands of yantras. So a yantra is a visual representation of a mantra or a vibration. And so in the yantras that we use in Vastu to do the corrections, for each planet is associated with a specific direction and a specific aspect of your life. For example, moon is associated with the northwest, the air element, and the air element has to do with harmony in our relationships. And then the water element is in the northeast, and it has to do with your spiritual and material growth, your prosperity, your finances. And the earth element is in the southwest. It's associated with how you support yourself, your physical body, and how you support yourself and your family through your career. And then the fire element is in the southeast, has to do with your energy, your prana level. If you are feeling strong and healthy and vibrant, So it's associated mostly with health. But this particular yantra and many of the yantras that we use to do the energetic corrections in Vastu is made of certain colors, certain shapes, and you can see there's a square in the center that's divided into 9 equal spaces, like tic-tac-toe almost. And each one of those spaces, depending on the yantra, has a Sanskrit number. And these numbers add up diagonally, vertically, and horizontally to the same number, which happens to be the frequency of whatever the yantra represents. In this case, it's the frequency of moon, the vibration of the moon. So these yantras are very powerful. And then down below, you'll see some Sanskrit writing. In this particular case, it's Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. But yeah, for the full moon, that's what we use to ignite the altar. And then we also have, Robin had mentioned writing three intentions on a piece of paper. But yeah, the colors, the blue and the yellow, all has to do with the moon and the shapes. A square represents earth, circle represents air, a triangle pointing down represents water, triangle pointing up represents fire, and a dot represents space. So all things are represented in yantras, all the elements.
So we're gonna, what are we gonna do now? I think we're gonna talk a little bit about the process that we're gonna do. And then we're gonna actually do the process, because I know a lot of you would really like that to happen. So together we're gonna do some chanting. And then I'm going to do a chant that many people may or may not know, called the long, slow Om Namah Shivaya. We're not going to do that for very long. We're only going to go through it 3 times. If you don't know it, you can listen to me do the first round, and then you can join in if you feel like it. Chanting unites our hearts and minds as one. It chanting, or like most people sing in churches or synagogues, or this actually brings people together, brings their energy together. This particular chant, the long, slow Om Namah Shivaya, moves the energy up in the body from the base through the head and out, and it balances the 5 elements within the physiology.
Normally we breathe about 17 times per minute, and this mantra slows our breath down. So we're breathing, just a short few times per minute. You don't have to count while we're doing it. But Om Namah Shivaya is very much related to balancing the 5 elements in the body and your environment. So Na, the sound as part of the mantra, Na represents, is the vibration of earth energy, and related to your base chakra. And Ma is related to the water element, related to your sex chakra. The sound sh is related to the navel chakra and the fire element. Va is related to the heart chakra and the air element. Ya is related to the throat chakra and the space element.
After we do the long, slow Om Namah Shivaya, Michael is going to chant a short mantra, the Gayatri Mantra, and I'm going to chant the written Jaya Mantra. And then we're going to do that, and then ignite the altar.
Yeah. And
Michael is going to do the ignition process of the altar. And then we're going to go into a meditation. Or are we going to ignite the altar first? I think maybe we should ignite the altar first, and then do the long, slow Namah Shivaya, so people are deeper, and they'll get deeper and deeper. And then we'll do a meditation, and Michael will do a blessing, and then we'll open it up to question and answer.
Great. You want to light that?
First, we're going to So first, before you begin, we're going to ring the bell. So if you have your altar, you can start doing these things. If you have incense or a candle, it's time to light. Yeah. I have my glasses on, so everything is kind of, hopefully, I'm doing it right. Yes, if you have cut out, you can either hold your yantra or the 3 words that you have written on the piece of paper, or both. If you don't have either, what I would do is just hold your hands to your heart during the ceremony. If you haven't made an altar, and just join this as our community altar.
So you can just close your eyes. And again, if you don't have an altar or anything written on a piece of paper, you can just bring your hand to your heart and start taking long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. And as you breathe in, feel every cell of your being of what it would feel like in your body to already have whatever you wrote on the piece of paper, or just think of 3 intentions for the new year. And just feel like they've already happened in your body. What does that feel like in your body? Feel that sense of joy, fulfillment, and gratitude in every particle of your being. Bring a big, big smile to your face. One more time. As you breathe in, feel every cell of your being of what it would feel like to already have whatever you wrote on the piece of paper. Feel that sense of joy, fulfillment, and gratitude in every particle of your being with a big, big, big smile on your face. Now you can take the yantra and the piece of paper and place it in the very center, the space element of your altar. And if you don't have an altar, you can just do that visually in your mind, or with our group altar here, surrender your intentions to the group altar. So the next part of the ignition is to use Gomoki mudra. There are different mudras. You've seen yogis meditating with their hands in this particular mudra that circulates the prana, or the energy in the body. This mudra is called Gomoki. You hold the 2 middle fingers in with your thumb, and the pointer finger and the baby finger are sticking out. So this is very powerful when you're setting intentions. So we're going to be pointing at your intention 9 times to the very center of the altar where your intention is. And again, you can use our altar if you don't have one. And we're going to chant a mantra. The mantra is Om Gang.
No, we're going to do Lakshmi.
Oh, okay. Om Mahalakshmi Maya Namaha. Om Mahalakshmaya Namaha. So we'll do that 9 times, and that Lakshmi is the goddess of abundance. So we're going to bring abundance to all our intentions for the new year. So
Om Mahalakshmaya Namaha. 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 And now we're going to chant the long, slow Om Namah Shivaya. go get them.
Close your eyes.
Just close your eyes.
You just keep your eyes closed. I'm going to chant the Gayatri mantra for peace and protection on the planet. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Yo Yo Nat Choryat Om Apo Jyotir Samvutaham Brahma Budbhuvasvaram.
And I'm going to chant the written Jaya Mantra, and this is for healing. Of course, I'm so sorry. My mind has just been activated because of the dog, so I'm going to pass on that one for now. And Mike is going to come back and he's going to do the 5-element meditation. I'm so sorry. Can you start me off maybe on the written Jaya?
Om Trayambakam Yajamahe
Sugantim Pushti Vartanam Urvarugamiva Bantana Mulukyor Mukshi Amamrutat.
Keep the eyes closed. Take a deep breath in. And let go. Take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just let go all the cares of the morning or whatever time of day it is there where you are. One more time, take a deep breath in. And as you let go, become aware of your physical body. Your body is related to the earth element, and the earth element, just by bringing your awareness to your body, you can bring that earth element into balance. Feel the stability, the groundedness that comes when that earth element is in balance in your body. You feel very grounded, supported. Once again, take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, become aware of the blood rushing through your veins. Our body is made of 80% of fluids that are made of the same chemical composition of the water found in the ocean. And just by bringing your awareness to the fluids in the body, you can bring the water element into balance. And just by bringing that water element into balance, you can bring abundance to all areas of your life. It's like flowing with the river instead of trying to swim against it. One more time, take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, become aware of the warmth in your body. Without the warmth and the light of the sun, there would be no life on this planet. And just by bringing your awareness to the warmth in the body, you can bring the fire element into balance. Feel the vibrant, powerful energy that comes, that creativity that comes when that fire element is in balance in the body. You feel very alive, vibrant. Once again, take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, become aware of the air that is moving in and out of your lungs. The surface of the earth is covered by about a mile radius of air, the same air that we breathe in and out. And just by bringing that air element into balance in the body, it brings harmony. Harmony into your physiology, into your environment, and those around you. Once again, let's take another deep breath in. And as you breathe out, become aware of the space in your mind. All the planets and stars are embedded in space, the same space that's in your mind. And just by bringing that space element into balance, it grounds you in the present moment. We spend most of our time thinking about things that happened in the past, regretting things in the past, or planning things for the future, being anxious about the future. But that space element brings us to the present moment, right here, right now, where true joy exists. Bring a big, big smile to your face and experience the joy that you are, the love that you are. One more time, take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, become aware of who is actually perceiving in this moment and all moments into eternity. It's not your body. Your body's not eternal. It's not your mind. Thoughts come and go. They are not eternal. It is the eternal light of consciousness within you that is perceiving in this moment and all moments into eternity. Become aware of that light of consciousness as a point in the center of your chest, brighter than 1,000 suns. We are all part of the 5 elements. We are all made of earth. We all walk on the same planet. We all drink the same water and breathe the same air and feel the same warmth and the same light of the same sun. In fact, we are all part of this eternal light of consciousness. We are one consciousness, made of the same 5 elements. And because we are all connected by the 5 elements in our consciousness, whenever anything on this earth is harmed in some way, we all feel it. So we're going to do a short chant for peace on the planet. Just keep your eyes closed with a big smile. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Punaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavi Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Keep the eyes closed, bring the palms of your hands together and move them back and forth. Create some warmth and some friction. Bring the palms of your hands to your eyes. Feel that warmth. Relax the hands in prayer position. Bring a big, big smile to your face. Slowly, gradually, in your own time, you can open your eyes.
How was that for everyone? Was it good? Wonderful. Before we open it up for question and answer, I wanted to let you all know of that Michael mentioned it briefly, but we are initiating something next Monday on the 1st of February at 11 a.m. Pacific time. It's going to be Mantra Mondays. And what it is Michael will give you a little bit of a horoscope for the coming week or month, and we'll chant together as a group for world peace and whatever else is going on planetarily at that time. And then I'm going to choose a few people randomly from the group, and we're going to focus our intention on blessing them and whatever it is that they're going through. And then we will do a group blessing and chant. And I just wanted to offer this to the community. I'll be sending out some information on it today, and also it will be posted on social media so that you can see that. It's just something I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and I've been kind of scared to do it. So I just feel like I want to offer this. And also you, just for attending today, we have our gift is 20% off if you want a yearly astrological reading or a Vastu consult with Michael. The code for that is full moon, and you can just go on our website at www.vastucreations.com and go to the products or services to see that. Just to let you know, Michael also teaches Vedic astrology and Vastu courses, certification courses. I'm going to be I'm coming up with some offerings that I'm going to do, courses and also certification for full moon altar or altars in the Vedic tradition. There are 8 different altars besides the full moon, and I'll be teaching people in depth how they work and deepening your spiritual practice this way into the Vedic sciences. So now we're going to open it up to, I guess we are at 11 o'clock. So if you need to go, fine. But if you want, if you would like to ask questions or continue to stay on, we'll probably stay on for at least another 15 minutes. So please raise your hand if you have a question. We'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, so unfortunately at this Zoom call, we cannot raise your hands, but what we will do, I will allow everybody to be able to unmute themselves, but please only do so when you have a question, otherwise it becomes a little bit chaotic. And we, of course, will take the questions in order of appearance. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so if you have a question, please unmute yourself.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Michael. Hi, Robin. This is so wonderful. Thank you. My question is, I noticed that you have your altar, it looks like it's not against a wall, but in the center of a room or sort of in the room. Do you
Right.
recommend that as opposed to something against a window? Which do you think is a better placement?
Well, for a full moon altar, it can be in the center of the room because it's temporary. If your altar, if you're doing a directional altar based on Vastu, it can be up against the wall. It could even be on a windowsill. And a full moon altar can be closer to the wall. We just did it this way because
So you can see it.
a good set for us. But also when we've done full moon altars for our community, we've done them in the middle of the house. We used to have a house that had a very large great room, and we would just put it in the middle of the house so people could gather around it, and they were 3-dimensional. So they were 3 stories high and 3-story, or actually 4-sided. So we just wanted to set it up this way so that everybody could see it, and then we could sit here and talk to you. So I hope that answers your question.
And I did light my candle. How long should I leave it lit for? Because the full moon is actually when? Tonight or tomorrow? Do you light it again?
Tomorrow morning. Well, we just light everything when we're igniting the altar. So if you feel like you want to keep your candle burning, just be sure. I mean, a lot of people just use electric battery operated candles for that reason. You can keep it going if you want to. I would just say that it's up to you, but usually we just do this piece with this incense and the candle and the ringing of the bell as we're igniting the altar.
Got it. Thank you. And last
We
question.
did it today because we wanted people to be prepared. So you
Sure.
you will do it again tomorrow on the
Oh,
phone.
okay. So do I reignite the altar tomorrow or no?
No, I don't necessarily. The way I like to do it, and this is just the way I do it, because I want the energy to be building. So I don't want to do it on the exact time of the full moon. We want our hopes and dreams to build along with the moon. And I know there are some people here from more of the Wiccan tradition, and it's the same thing. They like to build their altars at the new moon and use that energy leading up. It's the same energy. It's just closer. For me, it's more powerful to do it closer to the moon because I'm using that fullness that's not quite full. So I would just ignite the altar. It is alive. When you ignite it, you're putting your attention on it. It is working. It is like your little search engine, and it's drawing your highest intentions, which are your needs, the things that you need in your life to feel fulfilled. It's not about the wants. It's not about the bright shiny car and the perfect boyfriend. It is about the fulfillment of those heart's deeper desires. If it's to be loved, if it's to be of service, if it's to be fulfilled and joyous, those are the things that we're looking for. All the components, all the peripheral things that we want in our life come out of this desire for deeper fulfillment, out of your need for love, for grace, for happiness, for kindness in your life. Those are the feelings that we want.
Great. And one quick last question. This is so helpful. Thank you, Robin. In your sheet, you made recommendations of placing certain objects in certain directions. Are those directions in the room where your altar is, or for your overall apartment or house?
The room your altar is placed in, use the directions, like use your phone to get the compass reading of where to place the elements. It's going to be the same for whatever room you put it in the house, or even if it's outside. Pardon me?
I guess I just need a little bit of clarification if those placements should be in the room where the altar is, or in the corners of the whole apartment, the directions of the whole space, rather than just the room with the altar.
You're going to use your compass is going to be the same directions for wherever you place it in the house. So it'll be the same. If your house is, if you place I mean, the earth element is going to go in the southwest in whatever room you're placing your altar in.
Okay, so it is in the altar room that you recommend
Yeah.
putting. Okay, got it. Thank
I
you.
mean, and what we do is we put it on a coffee table. Some people put it on the floor. Some people put it on a windowsill. Some people put it on a smaller little table.
Or a tray.
Or a tray. That's,
Your choice.
your choice.
Thank you.
You're
Beautiful. And Monday mantra sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I kind of felt
Yay.
so drawn to it. So I hope everybody shows up for that, because I think we're going to try to do it Facebook Live and on Instagram simultaneously. It's going to be an interesting challenge. I don't know how to do it yet, but we're going to try to figure this out. So just bear with us. Like next week is going to be like,
Yeah, just keep us posted.
it's going to be experimental, and we will keep you guys alerted.
Any other
And-
questions?
Hi, Bart. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, hello. Hello from Belgium. And thank you for the beautiful yantras that I received from you. They've already been giving some effects in my life. My question is, how long do you keep the altar on? After the full moon, how long do you keep it?
I usually keep it up for a few days as the moon still, to me, looks full, and then I break it down. The full moon altar is a temporary altar. We do it. We set it up before the moon becomes full, and then we take it down a day or 2 or 3 later. It just depends on what you feel. But when the moon starts really not looking full, I would like to take it down. Your other altars that we talk about in all of we have 3 books that we've written. Mike is going to do like an advertisement. I'll do it too. Here we go. So these are our books, and we talk about altars in all of our books. So, and some of them are not the full moon altar, they're other altars. This one has all the altars in it. There's 8 directional altars in this book, and they each do very specific things. So this is a general altar. It's more of a community altar. You can do it with your family. Once we get out of COVID, you can do it with your larger community. It's a wonderful way of setting intention for the month.
Generally, the moon is strongest 3 days before and 3 days after the full moon. So that would be a good answer.
But always to like build your altar before the moon is full. So like tomorrow the moon is full here around, I think it's around 11 o'clock in the morning. So that's why we built it today.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bart, for your question. Kathy, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, good. Thank you. I did not put an altar cloth.
You don't need to.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I have my candle lit now, so I'm probably going to keep it lit while I'm in the room.
Yeah.
And I just light it every so often before the, because I don't want to have it on when I'm.
You don't need to do it again,
Okay.
because we've just done the ceremony.
Okay.
It's a choice for you if you want to keep it lit.
Okay.
But it's, like I've said to people in other classes that I've taught, this is your altar. What feels good to you, that's what you want to do. You want to, if you feel like you want to go through the ceremony again before the moon is, full tomorrow, you can do that. But you don't have to. It's already alive. It's kind of like you've turned on the radio, and whatever it is that you've desired has been placed at the feet of the divine to support you. And your job is to get out of the way. And so what I mean by that is that we can't figure this out from the level of the mind. There is more that goes on that we don't have any control over. So this is a perfect opportunity to surrender it to the greater good and to the unseen forces that are at play in your life.
I like what you said about, keeping it on while you're in the room, because we want to be safe. So a lot of people, that's why people use battery operated candles and stuff. So just, yeah, we just be cautious and be safe. And if you're in the room, it's fine. Or just while you ignite the altar, you can just keep it on during that period of time as well.
Can I just add, I've got a lot of those LED candles. It's
Yes.
not gold, but can I just put that on my altar and just turn it on?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
of course.
Gold or not?
As
Yeah.
long as it's in the southeast area.
And also it's, what you're creating is something that you love. That love feeds the altar. So if it looks beautiful, you do it.
And I can keep adding a bit to my altar now if I want to?
Sure.
Sure.
Wonderful.
It's like feeding a baby, feed it good food. It'll support you.
Thank you so much for your service. This is absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
And thank you, Kathy, for your question. Sangeeta, please, you can lower your hand and unmute yourself and please ask your question.
Thank you, Jai Gurudev. This is so great to see Mike and Robin here live. And Mike has visited our home and he did some Vastu consulting with us. I'm so thrilled with the altars that I use from your book. So I'm just wanted to share my gratitude and thank you for doing this. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so we have somebody from the UK. It's a yahoo.co.uk email. Your name is not really visible, but I think you know who I'm talking to. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Oh, hi. Sorry. I don't know why that shows up. My name is Ngozi and I'm from London. So
Hello.
yes. Hi. So this is the first time I'm actually doing a full moon altar, This is the first time, and I missed a little bit of the beginning because I tried to come in, but it wouldn't let me in. It said that the maximum was, reached. So, and I tried again, so I just got in now. But I think you already did the ceremony. Is there any way, I don't know, maybe you can send me an email or just explain it to me?
We're recording it and we're going to be sending out an email right afterwards. So you'll get the link and you can just watch it. And
great. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. And thank you for this. This is brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. Jupiter, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Hi, Jupiter.
Long time.
Yes.
Pleasure. Actually, you already answered my question because unfortunately I couldn't get in. As you know, I'm a student and doing too many classes at the same time, so I couldn't get in on time. But the very little I heard is really a pleasure listening to you. And first I'm listening to your wife, your lovely wife, Robin. So it's quite a pleasure seeing both of you. So thank you for what you do. And I look forward to getting the link so I can do it. Yeah.
We'll send you the recording.
Thank you, Michael. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Jupiter, for your comment. That was very kind of you. So Dawn, I see you have unmuted yourself. Go ahead and ask your question. Or maybe you're just, you're muted. Okay, so I think Susan or Sue, please go ahead and ask your question. You still have your hand raised. Maybe you already...
Yeah. Yes, Renee, thank you so much. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Michael, for doing this. It's been such a pleasure to attend. I was a little late, but I hope to catch up with the replay which I get. I wanted to ask you one question. Do we make any offerings and can we put any crystals while we do that?
I couldn't hear.
I said, can you repeat that again? I heard about the offerings, but the last, after the offerings.
Crystals. Do we add any crystals?
Add any?
Oh, crystals.
Oh, you can add whatever you want.
Sure.
Just make it your own. I mean, this is just what I put together. But as long as the elements are in place, you can add whatever you want. And the crystals, like I have this little aventurine ball. You can add crystals, stone. Some people with the earth element, they put a little plant here instead. Whatever you want, as long as it represents the elements and as long as they're in order. It's kind of like this is a formula for manifestation, and the elements have to be in their specific order directionally for, it's like, you know, putting a key in a car for it to ignite.
It's the geometry as I see it.
It's sacred geometry.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And while you remove the altar, is there specifically something we need to do, like say a mantra or something?
When you're removing the altar?
You can say Om Namah Shivaya.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. And I look forward to your Monday mantra groups.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for being here.
I wish you had the physical copy of the book. I see that it's not available.
Yeah, on our website or even on Amazon, the ebook version is available. Yeah,
no, but I like a physical copy of the book. So will you be coming up with
email me directly, and if you have my email, and we'll see if we can work something out.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing it.
Okay.
Thank you,
Namaste.
Sue, for your question. Bhavna, please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask the question.
Thank you so much for doing this, Michael and Robin. It was very peaceful and joyful to be a part of this session. I just want to say thank you to you, both of you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think we have one more question from Sally. Sally, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Yes, I concur. This was really lovely. My question is, in terms of the direction that is the corners, the southwest, the southeast, etc., is it to the compass, or is it depending on where you're kind of sitting?
It's to the compass, and
Got
so
it. Okay.
if for me, if this altar was facing us, I would have the elements still in this place.
An easy thing to do would, if you have the True North setting on your iPhone or any phone, and you can put it in the very center of the altar and just turn it so that you know that this is southeast, this is northeast, etc., like that. Just put the compass or the phone in the center, and then you'll know each direction.
Wonderful. And then my other question is, where do I sign up for the Monday mantras?
Oh, we're going to be sending out. Sorry, we have one of our dogs is very old and he likes to bark at everything.
It's treat time.
It's treat time. Always treat time. We'll be sending something out, and I don't know all the answers to that question because we've never done this before. So I think something will probably go out on Facebook and Instagram, because we're going to try to do it with our computer and our phone. I don't know if that's going to actually work.
We'll send an email.
We'll send an email once we figure this out, but it'll start. I promise it'll start next week, and I'm hoping it'll start on time at 11 a.m. Pacific time.
Wonderful. I'll see you there then.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sally, for that question. And Karen, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah. I think I know the answer, but I found this really cool. It's like a glass kind of drippy thing. I was going to put flowers in it, and it's on a piece of wood. Is that okay? Because it speaks to me, or do I have to worry that it's like down kind of?
No, that's fine.
If you love it, that's what matters.
Thank you.
It's the love that feeds the altar and makes it work. So when you look at that altar, and it has to be like, oh my God, I love this. That's the feeling we're after, is that we love the beauty of it. And it's our interpretation of beauty, nobody else's.
Thanks.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Karen. So do you want to take one more question, or?
Sure. One more question.
One more question. Averill, I'm going to ask you to unmute and go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, thanks very much. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I
yes.
can.
I was just wondering, in the offering bowl, you put your 3 intentions. Is there a significance to the number 3, or can it?
No.
Why 3?
Well, 3. She's asking why 3 intentions? Can it be more?
Well, I think if we get too diluted, I mean, and if we get too particular, the mind gets activated. So we're looking for that feeling at the end of whatever it is that we want, not the thing. So if you're having a health issue, let's say, you don't want to get, specific, like I need to find a good doctor and I need a good therapist. I need to figure out what this is. We want to put that feeling of good health and wellness. What would that feel like in your body? That's what we're going towards. So the more particular you get, the more activated the mind gets. This is really the journey from the head to the heart. This is about trusting as sacred space that you actually are in conversation with the divine. And so if you write one thing or 5 things or 10 things, as long as you're in that place where you have no expectation, you are opening it up for interpretation to a higher force, a greater force that knows better for you than you know for yourself. If you are coming humbly to your altar with your request, that is what is going to make it work. So yeah, that's just
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
you
you
have
for,
been, this has been so great for us. And I hope it's been really great for you, because we love doing, we love offering our services. And like I said before, we have so much that we have to share with you. Please check out our websites, both our Vastu Creations website, which is all of our products and services. And we also teach people about what we do, and certify practitioners at the American Institute of Vastu. It's www.americaninstituteofvastu.com. And if you have ever any questions or need to get in touch with us, we answer everybody. So our contact information is on the website. We also we don't need it, but I would love it if you would let us know how this felt for you. And also, we want to know how it works for you. So let us know. Just
take a picture of your altar and send it to us.
We would love to see your altar, and we would love to hear about this. And during this next month, please be aware that the changes it's like you've initiated something that will start manifesting in your life, and we just want to hear about it. So stay in touch. We really want to create community here. So looking forward to working with you all.
Thank you so much.